plus 10, are those two things you like about it, and what else did you see you liked about it?
Well, plus 10 is obviously skewed because we didn't shoot the ball near as many times. So when you don't shoot the balls near as many times, that gives the defense less opportunities to defensive rebounding. So rebounding was about even. So you know, I can't really. And if you look at second chance points, I could be wrong on this. I mean, they kicked us pretty good on that. I think it was 9-1 on that. So I wouldn't say that we rebounded well. You know, we didn't play very well at all. I thought we competed decently, but you know, if there's going to be a bright side, you know, as a one possession game in a game which we didn't really, you know, play as well as what we thought we would going into it, but give Duke a lot of credit. They sped us up quite a bit.
The turnovers, Duke get some credit for those.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you guys just threw it away a little bit.
Well, yeah, we did. Yeah, there's no defense in America that can force 28 turnovers. You got to help them do that, and so, but they did force their fair share, and then we got sped up, and then we contributed to it as well. We were awful in transition offense, and those were opportunities that we had to, you know, put points on the board. But if you go back and watch the tape, Duke's best offense was our offense, and usually when we don't play well, that's a big reason why. But that's a credit to them as well.
Coach, I said a lot of learning from the film. Did you
Yeah.
like the tone that they had when they were watching film?
Yeah, we watched it yesterday, and yeah, the guys all have great attitudes. It's not that, and you know, we as a staff and myself primarily, we could have done more things to help them, I think, than we did. The floor seemed awful congested. I mean, it seemed awful congested. You got big guys that just naturally just run to the block, and you can't play, you know, that way as much. And then of course we worked a lot on it, and we didn't handle their traps, even though they were delayed traps, very well at all. So there's a lot of things I think that we can work on and improve on, that we have worked on, but it just didn't really translate to many good opportunities the other night.
What was your message for the team after the game?
Well, first thing I said, I hate to tell you, we weren't going to go undefeated. You know, it was a coin flip game. It was a game in which, you know, there was a 50% chance we weren't going to be successful in it, even though we thought that we could be. But you know, we've lost to the other 4 losses. I went back and looked it up, and you guys would know better than me. But the other 4 losses we've had in the Champions Classic, we ended up being a 1 or a 2 seed every year. So. You know, so I don't believe that that's a disaster by any chance. I'm excited about it. I know that there's a lot of room for improvement, and I know that having Isaiah, when he gets back out there, will certainly add a different dimension to it. I was impressed with how Tristan played, primarily in the first half, but we can't play our starters 38, 38, 35. We can't do it, and that's on me to get confidence in our young guys, but it's also on them to come in and play in a way that gives our team the best chance to.
Isaiah got a chance tomorrow.
You know what? We're going to watch him today. You know, we got a week off before the next one, so hate to put him out there and then have him hurt it and then set him back a month or whatever. Sure. But if he can play and they say it's okay, then he'll definitely play.
Yeah, how close was he the other night?
Not in my mind. It wasn't even consideration. In the training staff's mind and in his mind, they thought that day that he was going to be good enough to play, but he didn't practice full speed. Right. So I wouldn't want to put him in that situation.
UNCG, not a big name, but certainly a 29-win team. Most
yeah, they're good. Oh yeah, they're good. They're good. They did lose their leading scorer from last year. He was a terrific player, but watching tape, very impressed with Russ's bunch. They switched defenses. They were going to press the whole game to slow people down, and then also look to steal as well. And they're really athletic, and so they match up with us, you know, athletically pretty well. So they're not as big as we are, you know, inside, but certainly they got a legitimate shot blocker. That's, you know, could be considered to be the best athlete on the court. So I like their team, and you know, if you look at it last year, Wofford ended up beating them 3 times, but they beat East Tennessee State twice, and you know, they were the last team, I was told just the other day, they were the last team not to get in, and there was an upset in a conference tournament, or they would have gotten that large bid. So yeah, that's hard to do from a
Right.
mid-major league. So they obviously are very capable.
Do you seek out the best teams from those mid-major leagues?
Unfortunately, we do. Dumb. But that's what we've always done. This is a harder game because if you win the game against Duke, obviously there's some adrenaline. If you don't, there's the loss thereof. But 3 days after the fact is fine. But what people don't, we missed a night's sleep just about. So we didn't get a chance to work out yesterday. All we did was watch tape. So it's a tough game for a one-day prep.
Where is Silvio at right now compared to like where you thought he would be as a player heading into this year?
Yeah, he's thinking, and he needs to get his motor turned up. I mean, there were you guys saw, there were some balls the other day playing way below the rim, the backboard. Had a uncontested tip in that he went with one hand, and stuff, and everything. And he's more than capable. He's just thinking too much, He'll get it. But you look at it. I mean, he's. You can say, make an excuse for having a year off, which I do think that's a legitimate, not an excuse, but a legitimate reason why he's rusty. But also, you complement that with, hadn't had a great last week, and then he's starting to doubt, okay, where am I supposed to be, that kind of stuff. And then the other thing is that he and David are both 5 men playing a different position, and so that doesn't mean that they can't play the 4 and the positions can't be interchangeable. But when you're going to play around Doak, you need to be able to do some things because Doak ain't going to move from very far from the basket. So those are things that he'll get better at. And certainly when he played 2 years ago, our 4-man was Fee or LeGerald. So it's a little bit different than what it is now.
Any combination of the big guys that you did like on Tuesday?
I actually thought David was by far our best big. I mean, by far. Yeah, I thought he rebounded the ball pretty well, and tried to do the right things and everything. But even with Dave, when you're playing 15-foot men, it still crowds the floor a little bit. So, but yeah, I thought that Dave did fine, and Doak and Silvio didn't have their best games. But that's also not an awful thing. We've lost in this game, 5 times now, and you hate to lose this game because obviously of the hype that surrounds it, and the Michigan State or Kentucky or Duke that you get a chance to play, and it obviously means a lot. But I think you said before the game, what happens in this game isn't going to have anything to do with what happens in March. But you would rather, it could be better for us. Remains to be seen if it is, that we actually find out some real things about us through a loss that sometimes is camouflaged, that still exists through winning. So since I'm a Tony Robbins half-glass full guy, I'm looking at it as a positive that we're going to figure these things out, and the guys will figure them out as well.
What were your impressions of the freshmen?
I thought Tristan did really well first half, and didn't get a chance to do a lot. But I disappointed is not the right word. It was just a big atmosphere for them. And there's some freshmen that you come into a situation, whether it's Wiggs or a Selden or Tyshawn even. They've been through some high school experiences that kind of make them not quite freshmen. Our freshmen really haven't. I mean, this is kind of new to them. Christian has been fabulous, but even he'd be the first to tell you that's a little different pressure than playing, Blue Valley West, and that's not a knock to Blue Valley West. It's just a different pressure. As certainly, and I think that those guys will be the first to tell you because they haven't been in moments like that. You're not McDonald's All-Americans. You're hanging out and playing in things where NBA people and Durant's sitting there on the front row and other things are going on. They'll get used to that and learn from it.
What's the biggest thing you want to see from Devon after the other night?
Run a team.
Yeah.
Run a team. I thought that was a game. We said this before, and this is not a knock on Devon because I think he's terrific. But that's a game before that Frank and Devontae loved to be a part of. you know, it's a one possession game, last 2 minutes, you know, we're just gonna get a stop, you know, that type of situation. And we'll grow into that, but it's still a little new to him, maybe having that responsibility. But in order for us to be a really good team, you know, he's got to be that, because he's the one guy that can do it, and I believe he will.
One more, guys.
You mentioned, any thoughts on what Devontae's doing in the NBA right now?
Well, one of us had a good night on Tuesday night. You know, I think he got, what did he get, 35?
Something like
Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 to 21 from the field, made 6 threes, something like that. So he's killing it. You know, it just goes to show you though, and we all love Devontae, but he got in a good situation. And other guys that don't get in a good situation, that have comparable talent, it's a hard road. I mean, there's just no guarantees out there unless you're a, you know, definitely a first rounder or a lottery pick. And so, yeah, I'm happy for him, but you know, whatever comes his way positive, he certainly deserves it, all of it. So hopefully we can get Frank. You know, Frank's on a roster now. You know, you got to beat out George Hill in order to be the second guard, and you know, that's hard to do. An NBA world champion type guy. So I think he won one with the Spurs. I'm not positive. I thought he did, but you know, they'll get there. But it's not an easy path for anybody. But Devontae's made the most of his.